It's a couple minutes to 7 o'clock, so I'm just going to give everybody a couple more minutes to join, and then we'll get started. You may want to go grab yourself a glass of water or just your beverage of choice at this time. Maybe not a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee may keep you folks up. Of course, unless you're one of my international viewers and it's early morning for you, you may just need a cup of coffee. Hey, Scott. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that everything was working okay, but I won't get going until exactly 7-ish. Awesome. Good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. It sounds okay. Hey, Daniel. Thanks for joining. We will get going. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. I'm not an old pro at this like you folks are, so I just wanted to make sure everything was working. You may want to have a piece of paper and pen handy because we are going to do a little exercise to kind of walk through some of the stuff that I'm explaining so that you can feel it in real time. We'll get going in a minute, folks, just so you know. Start right at 7. Well, there we are, 7 o'clock. So welcome. My name is Lori. If you haven't already done so, please say hello in the chat so I know who's joined me or not. And let me see. I actually put some slides together for this. So let me see if I can figure out how to share them. Bear with me. Well, maybe I won't be. Okay. Thought it says share screen, but select a tab to share. Oh, okay. I don't think I have it set up correctly to share. So I will drop these slides after the fact, probably in my school community. Let me just open them so I can see them. Oh. Is it still? Hey, thanks. If I minimize this, will I won't lose you folks, right? No. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I wanted to share slides, but I'm not even going to be able to do that. That's something I guess I need to work on. I can't figure out how to do it. So if I minimize it, you'll still see me? All right, let's try. Are you still there? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Total fail. Total fail. All right. Well, I totally lost you folks and I somehow rejoined. Are you still on? Because it completely shut down on me. Are you still there? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I couldn't see anything. So I'm not going to even look at my slides. I'm going to try and go from memory here. Okay, this is not working. Oh, shoot. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear? Okay, I got your back. Somehow I lost you folks, so I apologize. Bear with me. I'm not going to be able to read through my slides, and I'm going to have to figure this out after the fact. But anyways, so welcome. Tonight I want to talk about frequency and basically what it means and how to use it in everyday life. So we all know that energy, everything is made up of energy, right? Whether it's us, whether it's anything here in the house, whatever it is, it could be a tree outside. Everything is made up of energy. Everything is made up of, particles, if you would, floating around. And we all have, we meaning humans, all have like this aura that goes around us, or it's called frequency. And whether you realize it or not, you are either attracting something to yourself or you're pushing something away. And it all depends on your frequency. And I guess the best way to describe it is think of a radio, and you may have it tuned. I used to say the dial, but I'm not sure there's any radios that have a dial anymore. But even if it's a push button radio, if you're listening to country music, right? And then you turn the dial just a little bit, you might get hip hop, or you might get a podcast, or whatever it is. It's already there, right? It's already there around you, out in the open space. So our frequency is the same way. Whatever we want, whatever we desire into our life, it's already there. We just have to tune our energy to the same frequency that our desire is on. And so one of the things, sorry guys, I don't have, just bear with me one more minute. It's not a long presentation. All right, I'm going to trust that I'm not going to lose you if I do this. So, like I said, your energy field is like a radio station, right? And it's broadcasting 24/7. In the universe, it's responding to the signal that you're sending out there right now. So either you're attracting something you want into your life or you're repelling it. And it's all based on your frequency. And in my mind, there's two economies. You got your traditional economies, right? You go to work, you're paid for your work, and then you're with that pay, you then go and buy traditional goods with it. Well, there's also something called a frequency economy, and that's your energetic state, and that determines what flows to you. And I think a key thing that you need to remember is you don't attract what you want, but you attract what you are. You attract the frequency that you're vibrating at. And there's a couple different signals, right? Either you're broadcasting a signal of scarcity or you're broadcasting abundance. You're broadcasting one or the other. Scarcity signal, it's I can't afford that. It's not that I choose not to buy that right now. You think to yourself, I cannot afford that. Or I know we've all heard of this, money doesn't grow on trees, or there's never enough. Those are all things, at least I know as a kid, I used to hear that all the time. And the emotions that are attached to scarcity is your fear, anxiety, just, a feeling of lack. But on the other side of that is the abundance frequency that you could be broadcasting. I'm open to receiving. There's plenty for everyone. And I sit on some of these lives and, I don't know if it was, I don't remember who said it, but basically, you know what? There's enough space for all of us at the table, right? There's plenty of money to go around. And I think we need to remember that money is just a tool. It's just a tool. But I think people get into this fear, and I think we need to step out of that. You just need to remember you're worthy. You're worthy of prosperity, and your worthiness is not conditional. It's not conditional on anything. You were born worthy. And I think somewhere along the way, we kind of lose that sense of worthiness. But again, this is broadcasting abundance. If you're open to receiving, there's plenty for everyone. You're worthy of prosperity. And with those things comes the feelings of confidence. You're grateful. You trust. You have no reason not to trust because you know it's coming. So I guess let me give you an example, right? When you look at nature, and I know some of you folks that are on this live tonight, Escaping the Suburbs with Scott. He's on this live, and I know Daniel, DG Outdoors. You both spend a lot of time outside in nature. So let me give you an example of an apple tree. An apple tree, it will produce hundreds of apples, right? The apple tree doesn't think, oh my goodness, I can only produce 5, because if I produce any more than that, it just doesn't think like that. And not only does it produce hundreds of apples, each apple contains dozens of seeds, and each seed can produce another tree. Nature does not believe in scarcity. It never has, and that's just the way of the universe. I believe scarcity is something that we humans made up. It's just not a universal truth. So you just need to remember that scarcity is our own limiting belief. It's not the way of the universe. And I believe we've all heard this. One of probably the number one way to increase your frequency is through gratitude, right? Gratitude, when you're grateful for something, it tells the universe, I see abundance is already here. There's already plenty for all of us, and I am thankful for that. And when you do that, when you're grateful for what you already have, the universe will then trust you with more because you're grateful for what you have. And the thing is, you must feel grateful now, not when you have more, not when you get that raise at work, not when I get that new car or I finally get that house, that I've been wanting. You need to feel it now. And as we get into this a little bit more, you'll realize that everything comes down to the feelings. And we've all, I know we've heard the word manifesting, and, it talks about positive thinking. Well, everything does come from a thought. That's definitely true. But that's just a bridge. You can't just think your way into what you want. It has to start with a thought, but it all comes down to your feelings. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. The feeling has to come first, and then, the manifestation or whatever you call it, the law of attraction, some people call it, will follow. But the feeling must come first. And this may surprise you, is there's a giving and receiving. We've all heard, if you give, is like the ultimate statement of abundance, right? I have more than enough, so I'm willing to give. And it brings you joy by giving. It's not an obligation. It's genuine. It's authentic, right? That raises your vibration instantly. And again, you got to remember, you want to raise your vibration to bring up your frequency, to bring it to on the same level as what you're desiring. It goes back to that radio. You want to get on the same level frequency as that radio station, right? If you want to listen to country, you have to turn that dial. Well, if you want, if you want that new car, let's say, but it may not just be that. It may be you want to lose those 10 pounds. Whatever it may be, you need to get on that same level as where your desire is at. But now, so we've all heard of the giving, so we all understand that. But have you also heard of the receiving? And this is where I struggle, I'll be honest. So when you receive something, we all say thank you. I think that's universal. Most of us would say thank you. But how about when you're given a compliment? When you're given a compliment, how does it make you feel? Do you try and deflect it? Do you, really just say thank you and accept it? Do you feel that? Well, you need to. As much as you need to give to raise your frequency, you also need to be open to receiving. You must let people do and give to you. That is just part of this. That is one, that is the another piece of the loop as far as raising your frequency. And you need to feel worthy. You need to feel worthy of what you get in your life you deserve. There was a time in my life that even in my corporate career, as I was getting promoted, sometimes I would be not surprised, but just maybe I didn't feel worthy, right? It took a long time for me to get to that space of feeling worthy. So I think that might be all something we need to work on. And I think an important point is every time you reject a gift, if somebody, whether it's a compliment, just wants to do a good deed for you, you're training your energy, your frequency to actually repel wealth, and that's not what you want, right? We all want the good things in life. And I don't mean just the material things, because there's more to life than just the material things, but whether it's the peace of mind or whether it's our health, we just have to make sure that we're following through on both ends of the equation. And before we go further, I just want to do this quick exercise. So if you do have a piece of paper, I do have a blank piece of paper here, and I hope I have not lost you folks. I don't see the chat, but I am having faith and trusting. On this piece of paper, and I'm not a good artist like my daughter, I want you to draw a sun. Like my artistic skills. And in the sun, I want you to put something that you're working towards. Again, it could be 10 pounds. Maybe you just want to feel a peace of mind. Maybe you want to feel secure about something. Maybe it's a new car. Maybe, it's a new home. Whatever it is, I want you to put it in the middle of your sun. And for me, I'm going to keep it simple. I want 1,000 subscribers. Okay. Now, whatever you have there, I want you to take 30 seconds and I want you to think in your mind that you already have it. Whatever it is, whatever you put there, I want you to think you already have it today. New car, it's sitting in your driveway. New home, you've already moved in. You've already moved in. Whatever it is. And then I want you to feel exactly what you would be feeling if you already had that dream, that thing you're working towards come to pass. What would it feel like? Would it feel like accomplishment? Would you feel a sense of I don't know, maybe a little bit of pride. Maybe if you get that raise at work, you feel a little bit more peace. Whatever it is, I want you to write on these lines all your different feelings that you would feel if this was if this has already come to pass right now, today. Think about it. And I want you to get real with this, because when you fill this in, whatever it is, whatever those feelings are that you're putting on the rays of the sun, I then want you to look at this. I want you to I put some feelings here, but if you can try and fill it all the way around. What this is a recipe card. This is how you attract what you're looking for in life. This is how you raise your frequency, meaning you need to feel each one of these feelings. It's all about the feelings. It's not just about the thinking of it. You've got to already have it, and you got to feel that. And I've had this conversation with so many folks, and people will be like, "Yeah, but Lori, then it just kind of bums me out a little bit because it's not really here," or I'm just worried that if I feel like I already have it, then when it doesn't happen, it'll be a sharper fall for me. I'll get more depressed about it. So let me ask, what good does it really do for you to worry about it? Why not feel those feelings today? Because it is truly, whether it's Neville Goddard, whether it's Wayne Dyer, whether it's Joe Dispenza, they all say the same thing. It is the feelings. So we must train ourselves to feel the feelings today, not once something comes to pass. Don't you think you're worthy enough of feeling good now and not waiting for that thing? So that's just a little exercise, and it's truly the recipe. I learned this in a masterclass that I took a couple years ago, and I have mine sitting in my office, and I will be honest, I was doing this before this was a thing for me, and it has always, when I can picture it, when I can see it, but then I live as if it's already here, the universe just kind of lines things up. It has worked 100% of the time for me. It really has. So that was just a little side note that I wanted to take you through. But what I want to talk about now is, what are some of the things that block your frequency? One of the things is feeling guilt. Like, Lori, there's so many people, they're so, worse off than I am. Why should I want whatever you want? Well, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with wanting good things if you'll use them well, right? But if you're not going to appreciate them, if you're not going to be grateful for them, then that certainly is not going to help your frequency. That is what's going to block your frequency. And another thing that is so powerful to clear your frequency is there is no justified resentments. There is nothing in this life that justifies you being angry and resentful towards somebody. I don't care what it is, because that will block your energy field always. Forgiveness is such a miracle, not only for the person you're forgiving, but more for yourself. And I'm not saying by when you forgive somebody, if somebody has done you wrong, whatever it may be, I'm not saying you're giving them a pass. We'll all face judgment day. But there are no justified resentments. You need to let that go. Because that is a major block. So whatever it takes, and sometimes that's not an easy thing to do. I do understand that, but you've got to work on letting that go. And sometimes, we all have beliefs, and this is a big one for me. We all have beliefs that we have inherited from others. One that I've heard a lot, money is the root of all evil. Well, I'll tell you right now, money is not the root of all evil. What the Bible says, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. Money is just a tool. There's nothing evil about money. The way I look at it, it's kind of like each one of us is a garden. And are you a garden of beautiful flowers and luscious vegetables and floral bushes, or are you a garden of weeds and I don't know, poison ivy? I don't know if poison ivy's in a garden, but poison ivy. And the money is just rain, right? So if money was to fall on somebody who has a good soul, a good heart, you're going to do good things with the money. But if you're not such a good person and you stumble upon all this money and this money rains on you, then you may not do real nice things with the money. But it's not the love of money that is evil. It's just not. So what I want to do now is I want to give you a morning practice, right? And I'm saying this to Lori, not just to you folks. But before you get out of bed in the morning, don't check your phone. I mean, oh my goodness, when I was working, I retired a couple years ago after I was laid off. But when I was working, that was the first thing I did because I worked for, a global company, and people I particularly worked with were over in Europe. So they were 6 to 8 hours, depending where, ahead of me. So I could almost guarantee that there was going to be some type of issue as soon as I woke up in the morning. And that'd be the first thing I did. Well, that was the worst thing I could have ever done. But don't check your phone. That's the first thing when you first get up. But then I want you to go back to this exercise and feel what it would feel like if you woke up in that new home. Feel what it would feel like if you knew you were driving to work in that new car you wanted. Feel what it would feel like to know you have a clean bill of health. Whatever it is, okay? I don't want to make it just about material things. I want you to feel that. And not just visualize it. Again, it's not just about visualizing things. You've got to feel it. It's all about the feelings. That's what raises the frequency. And then just spend, at least 60 seconds, 5 minutes if possible, but at least 60 seconds, and just literally let it radiate from every cell of your body that what you want has already come to pass. And then finally, I just want you to set an intention for the day and let the universe know that you're ready for a good day. You are open to receiving all the good things the universe has ready for you today. Okay, so just don't check your phone. Feel what it would feel like to have what you desire already come to pass. Really feel it, not just visualize it. Really let it radiate from yourself. And then set an intention for the day that you're open to receiving all the good that the universe has to give you. And then throughout the day, come back to that feeling. Remember, come back to this feeling of whatever it is as often as you can. I'm telling you, in no time at all, the universe will have a way of aligning things for you to achieve whatever it is you're desiring. But you must feel as from a place of already having it, not from a place of wanting it. You cannot, you can imagine yourself and you can say all these things, and you can feel these things, but if in the back of your mind you're like, yeah, but it's not, it's just, you really got to feel it. You really got to feel it. And I'd love to hear, the magic that's going to happen, because miracles will happen. I'm telling you. And just remember that all of this, it's inspired. Again, it's not just by, okay, well, if I sit here and just feel this, that everything's going to happen for me. You must take action. But I'm not saying you need to hustle, because hustling, which I'm really bad at, I'm really bad at this suggestion because it is hard for me to just sit, rest, and relax. So again, a lot of this is stuff I have learned, and a lot of this is stuff that I am having to do every day. But hustling, that forced, desperate, exhausting energy, that way, it definitely lowers your frequency. Because usually that hustling is driven by fear. And again, this is something I had learned from my childhood. It was definitely a protection method. And yes, it was driven by fear. And you're trying to force things through willpower, which will never work. Maybe not. I was going to say, we've all been on a diet where you think you can just be successful through willpower. May work for a day or two, but it doesn't work. And, just think for a second, because I'm sure we've all been there. Just think about when, you were dating in high school or something. This is the best example I can come up with. And, you know, somebody just that girlfriend, that boyfriend, they were just so needy. They were just so needy because they were trying so hard. Not good, right? I think we've all been there. But when you allow things to flow, again, that will increase your frequency. It becomes effortless. You become energized, and that's where inspiration happens. And what does inspiration mean? It just means you're in spirit. You're in the flow. And you start being guided by your intuition. The universe will have a way of the right time, the right place, the right people. They will just have a way of aligning things up for you. But you must act from abundance and not from scarcity, not from lack. So, simple steps to raise your frequency right now, today. Anytime you notice your thoughts thinking, oh, I can't afford that, or, again, I go back to these material things, but, oh, if I have that, I'm going to gain weight, or I'm not going to be healthy, or, my friends won't like me. You got to stop and catch that scarcity mindset and choose a different thought. Again, I've said it in the past that just, say, thank you, I hear you, but not interested, and change it with a different thought. And practice gratitude. 3 things every day. And I used to keep a gratitude journal, and now it's just so second nature that it's not even about keeping a journal as it is. I might be driving down the street, and if I hit all the red lights the right way, what a gift. What a gift from God, because those red lights could cost you 5 minutes, right? But whatever it is, I am constantly just being grateful, thankful. Sometimes when, like, you're looking for something, you just can't find it. And all of a sudden it shows up. Just thankful. I'm constantly saying thank you. So practice gratitude. 3 things every day, whether you keep a journal or just keep it between yourself and God. 3 things every day. And then give something. Give something away every single day. Give 10 minutes to a neighbor who may need help carrying in their groceries. Maybe smile at, the checkout clerk at the market. Sure, give $1 if you go to, the coffee shop. And then this one doesn't cost anything. Give a compliment. Give a compliment. There's always something about somebody else that you can compliment. Always. So every day, give something away. But just as importantly, receive gracefully. Accept the compliments, accept the help when people ask, and accept the gift when somebody gives you a gift. Because that is where I struggle. When somebody wants to pay for my lunch, I just struggle with accepting that. And I'm really trying to do better. But just learn to receive gracefully. And then do that morning practice, right? We talked about don't touch your phone. Feel the feelings that are already of something you already want as here. Let them radiate through your body. So just feel that, that morning practice. And then if you can forgive one thing. If there's something in your life, forgive it every single day. And maybe that's yourself. I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. So another thing that I have to work on sometimes when I'll mess up, I'll be like, oh, Lori, that was so dumb. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Give yourself some grace. And just remember this, you do not need to chase anything. You just need to align with what you already are. That's it. That's it. So, not sure if I have any questions, and I hopefully did not lose you folks. Are we still live? Oh, I love some of these comments. I heard last week that it's immoral to think a compliment and not give it. And learning how to accept a compliment is a sign of maturity. Food for thought. Yes, absolutely. So that's it. It was a little disjointed, but hopefully I got the message across. I don't know if there's any questions from anything. Yeah, I have a real fireplace going, Scott, simply because it's cold up here. Okay, it's not cold in Florida, even though I think Granny had said the other day, oh my goodness, what'd she say? It was like 64. I think she said it was 64. And she said that was a little chilly. I had a chuckle. So 64 would be shorts weather up here. But and you're right, you have to allow people to bless you. So 64 is freezing. Oh. Daniel, I know you can relate, right? Indiana isn't that warm. So all right. Well, I really appreciate everybody who's joined. I'm not going to keep you if there's no questions. That is certainly one thing I have learned through my corporate days. But I definitely appreciate everybody joining. All right, folks. I will see you throughout the week. I hope you guys have a great night. And thank you for being patient with me. Take care.